You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Homeland After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Homeland After Show.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, AfterBuzzers. Welcome to the 3rd season, episode 4 of Showtime's Homeland. Bing is for doing, and that's what we're doing. This episode entitled Game On, Suckers minus the Suckers. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey, and joining me this evening is...
Leonelli, hello.
And Nando, Velasquez, hello there.
Yes, so Homeland was I was really like falling asleep last episode. I mean, it was great to see something going on with Brody, what happened after the explosion and what he's doing, and leading into this episode, Carrie in this mental institution. And I'm just so happy that at the end of the episode, there was finally some life that was breathed, or whatever the proper grammatical breathed into. Thank you, Lauren. Into the series, because it was starting to become a head nodder.
Yeah, who would have thought that these past 3 episodes was all a setup for this whole big twist?
Well, the Queen of Predictions may have alluded to that a couple of times, because how many times did I say?
Queen of Predictions.
Yeah, that's right.
Saul has a plan.
Saul is not throwing her under the bus. There's a plan. How many times did I say that? I got up and did a dance. And I would create it for you, but it's a real tight shot. And I was screaming. It was so good. Oh, when Saul saw Carrie, and I can't. It makes me want to cry. I was so excited.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys DVR'd it or if you guys actually saw it live, but Claire Danes actually came on and did some explanation of some things that may not have been included in the show itself after the episode ended. And explained some of the in-between of some of the nuances and actual details that maybe, or that wasn't shown or written into the actual script for the episode.
The thing, she touched on the things that once Saul let the audience in on the fact that this was a plan.
Right.
And that it was a cover. They went back and said, okay, like for example, when Carrie called her father and said, "Tell Saul I'm done," that was like code for like, get me out of here. I can't do this anymore.
Right.
Like, not that.
Well, she said that was real. Yeah, she said that was really her calling, get me the hell out of here.
Right. But from the plan and all of that, like that, but we didn't know how deep what that actually meant. Is what I'm saying. So she went back and sort of said, you could put these things together, but it was nice to think about those details in real time, with her saying, hey, in this scene, even though then you can look back and kind of go, okay, yeah, so we put her in there, and she was just trying to wait it out, but it's nice to know the specific moments, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, she said it herself in that segment after the show, if you watch it, that it was her trying to keep track of what's
even
a con.
Even as an actress.
Yeah, what's a con and what's reality. It was a very layered performance because, again, she's deep undercover, but she's still within the limits of her own sanity or her disorder, of her affliction. So this is affecting her. It's deep undercover, but it's just as bad as being deep undercover in the Middle East in enemy territory.
Totally.
It's about the same exact thing for her.
It is.
Because she's in a psych ward where she's trying to keep her sanity.
Right.
For sure. It's life or death.
Especially since she is diagnosed bipolar and she is on medication.
Exactly.
And
so then, okay, wait. I'm just thinking back. Wait, I know, because we're talking about, sorry to interrupt where you're going,
go
but
ahead.
I have to say, so then you have to think about how much Carrie is acting. Because if in the moment when she had that hearing to get out did she have to pretend to be disappointed?
The first commitment hearing or the one this week?
The one with the lawyer, with the judge, he came in and everyone around the table was like, she giving her glowing review.
So this episode, Yeah, you have to wonder about that. I guess.
So was Carrie acting, or was that really supposed to be her way out? And then that's the moment where she was like, dude, Saul, I thought I was supposed to get out. Get me out. I'm done. Like, was she acting disappointed, and that was all part of the plan? Or is he not confused?
Well, this is one question that I have, and then I'm going to address that.
Okay.
The first question I have is just for outside of the box, outside of the show, we've got Claire Danes explaining for an extra few minutes what's actually going on in the show. Mm-hmm. Do you guys think that's actually cool that they're doing that so we kind of know what's going on in the show, or do you think it lacks creative integrity, whereas they should have been able to just include those details in the show?
I think
itself.
My opinion on that is no. Is that I think their audience is smart, and I think that they don't want us to feel like they need to hold our hand. And I think that because the story is so complicated and so layered, that there's probably they could do 5 other seasons on just the explanations of this little point and that little point and this little detail and that. And no, so I think in this particular situation, this was super duper layered. So it was nice to have a little insight, but I don't think that they need to explain that. Like, it's too expository and then annoying. Even in the scenes where like Dana and the boyfriend are Leo are like, yeah, well, it was my brother holding that gun that day. He killed himself. Like, even that's like, ugh. I don't like when I feel like they're like soap opera explaining. So I personally wouldn't like that.
Well, they don't have to soap opera explain in order to just kind of show the details of what's going on. I feel like she was
SNL skit, I was only acting.
Right.
I was merely acting.
Well, but they wanted us to be in the dark. That's what made this so good.
They did, but if it was so good, do you think that they would need to bring her on to explain?
It was,
well,
because
it's not part of the show anyway. It's afterwards. Some people don't.
It's not,
some
but that's
people
breaking
choose
the
not
fourth
to watch
wall.
that stuff. Well, people like to see a peek behind the curtain, and to be honest, even without seeing that, I would have to say, great acting performance because
it was amazing.
You can see it has to be layered to play that kind of way. You kind of go back and go, really? Was she in on it the whole time? And yeah, even without seeing that bit, you're kind of thinking like you were thinking, was she really being serious here? Was she really in danger? Was she really?
I see what you're saying, Thaddeus.
I get it.
Well, I just think that some fans may think that why wouldn't they just? I know that some fans are going to be like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. And I'm just thinking some other fans might be like,
how else would they do that though without flashing back? Because you couldn't go back. If you're trying to keep the audience out of that loop so that that's a big reveal at the end, which they're very good at doing, there's no way you could let them in on that until after the fact. So then only would they have to add a couple 5 minutes on the end of the episode for Carrie to be like, Saul, when they see each other, and then have like a flashback of like her on the phone and him getting the message from the father, or like, I don't know, I just think that would be cheesy.
I think we were all able to figure it out. And I know last week's episode, I saw a lot of comments on the internet. People just felt like the whole Brody, Carrie, mirroring each other, their situations being very mirrored.
Yes.
They just felt it was like hitting the nail over the head by the end. It's like, yeah, we get it. They both are very similar.
The side shots.
Yeah, we get it. So I think the audience is smart enough to figure this out.
The audience doesn't like feeling like they're being force-fed something. I think that we like. This is the 3rd season of this show, and we like sitting on the edge of our seats going, what? Like, keep us a little bit in the dark, because that's what makes it so good when they reveal something.
So you feel the extra Claire Danes footage was okay, even with the intelligent fans? The fans wouldn't be able to figure it out.
I think people can appreciate the acting. I think people who are really into what the actors are thinking, I think they really appreciate hearing that kind of stuff.
It was a nice time for them to do that, I thought. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Well, you guys can let us know what you think. You guys can call in 424-256-1729, 424-256-1729, and let us know what you think about how the story developed into this big reveal at the end of episode 4 Game On, because it kind of hit a lot of people over the head. I know it hit Lauren Leonelli over the head. She was doing cartwheels and backflips.
I was dancing.
Dancing.
Literally dancing.
Yes, it was actually great to see that happened.
Not gonna lie, I yelled out loud, "Homeland is back!"
Yeah, to be honest with you, personally, for me, I was a little annoyed with how Saul was behaving the last 3 episodes, simply because it wasn't consistent with his character. So it's good that
it was breaking my heart.
It made sense that his character developed this way.
It was so satisfying.
It was so Saul-ish to come back around and be like, hug her. And, and the thing I also like, and this is a personal thing, obviously, is that he stayed true to himself, and he's kept Carrie. It's like they have this thing going on that nobody else knows about. I don't even think even Dar knows what's going on, which is why she, when he came to, he did the DOJ thing. Remember, he came in and said, "You want me to do those DOJ files?" He said, "I put them on your desk." He said, "Yeah, go ahead and handle that." Blah blah blah. When he was talking to Farrah,
he didn't even know what he was doing.
He didn't, because Saul has all this thing.
Yeah.
He's masterminding and puppeteering this whole thing.
That's why I love
so this whole time, I guess you would assume that he's had Dar going this whole time. You can assume that Saul's had Dar going this whole time.
To an extent,
Right.
yes.
If Saul is operating on his own, I mean, the thing with Farrah that he's doing, he told her, don't mention it to anyone. And when Dar walked in the room, noticed that they were quiet.
Yeah.
So same thing. I mean, who knows? Carrie's noticing that Dar was at the commitment hearing afterwards, talking to the judge, and that's where he gave the writ to keep her in there. So who knows what Dar is? Maybe Saul doesn't trust Dar.
Well, he was doing his own thing that nobody talks about.
And Dar said he was going to put her under. And Saul was kind of like, whatever Saul kind of put his hands up and
remember
he's out for Carrie.
The first episode, Saul said, "I would never throw Carrie under the bus," and he said that to Dar. Because he was kind of probing, look at what happened out here, and he was kind of blaming Carrie a little bit for that.
Right.
She's part of this. We need to keep her under. You need to control her. And I think that Saul does this often with Carrie. He used to do that all the time when they were first trying to figure out stuff with Brody, and then Peter Quinn came in and they were doing this Dar was involved in that, but they were doing the under the radar things. Now he's doing it with Farrah, except that he's the king of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we go back and Carrie was on the run, so to speak, and she called, what's the guy's name? Virgil?
Yeah.
So when she called Virgil, were they really?
Yeah, wait, now we need to talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Well, here's the thing. I just think it's everybody against Carrie. It's like Saul's the only confidant here.
I know, but why would
Carrie.
she do that if she knew she was going to be...
She's got to play it up. She's got to act as if nothing's going on.
She had to call Virgil because she knew that the people on the other side
needed to know, but Virgil's in on it as well.
But he knew though. But Virgil knew. He was like, whatever, you guys can do whatever you want. I'm gonna say, tell your mom I said hi, and that's gonna be it.
I don't think she knew that Virgil was tapped. I mean, until Virgil said, say hi to your mom for me.
Right.
That's when she realized it. But I think she just has to go through everything normally and just keep a keen eye as to what's going on, what's being present. And again, right now she's under. You saw it kind of in clips for next week. She's under surveillance from the Iranians, and she's under surveillance by her own government. The only person who seems to know how deep undercover she is Saul.
I can't stop thinking. I'm like, sorry if you guys are
gone through the
for people who are watching, and my eyes are like, I'm like floating off into what happened. You see, I'm like, it's so I can't think straight right now.
Okay, so my next question is, should Carrie stay on her meds or not stay on her meds? And the reason I ask this question is, obviously she's been prescribed this medication because of her condition, and they're supposed to be good for her or whatever, to keep her balanced or whatever or whatnot. But although her life is in somewhat of turmoil, I have never heard or seen any kind of media outlet, film, television show where they've depicted the personal life of a CIA agent in order. So this, to me, seems still consistent with anything that would somewhat resemble a TV show or something where the CIA agent's life is like turned upside down.
Regardless of the bipolar disorder.
Exactly. Thanks you for clarifying that.
No, yeah,
regardless of the bipolar disorder. And it's kind of like, well, does she need to take medication anyway? Because if it's not broke, why fix it?
I think it goes back
she's been coming to all the right conclusions anyway.
No, but she flew off the handle for reals, though.
Yeah. Well, what is it? First season, she was off meds for a bit,
just this last time. That was real,
but
right?
Here's my question. My question is, how far back does this go? Does this go back from the very beginning when she was off her meds, or was this something that Saul kind of fed her, a little bit later on?
Okay, wait. This is so...
My whole point is it necessary for her to keep taking her meds? Because it seems as if it's like a completely different isolated situation.
She is taking her meds right now.
She's taking it right now. But she wasn't taking it at the beginning of the season.
No, but she's taking them. She was under surveillance at the institution. There's no way she wasn't taking them.
When she wasn't taking her meds, was that part of the plan?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what's interesting.
I can't.
She operated before when she was on meds.
She was like, I've been jogging 5 miles a day.
So it's possible that this was part
But she's never wanted to be on her meds anyway.
Hold on. I think this is what happened.
And she still came to the right conclusions about everything. All her theories were right for the most part.
Take a guess and say, what happened was real. She did go off her meds. Crazy shit went down. Saul, in that moment, was like, I'm gonna feed. This is what I thought when I was watching it anyway. That heartbreaking moment when he told about her disorder
at the Senate
hearing.
Right.
I think she really was like, "You're what?" Like, he did that, but I think he knew in the moment. He maybe made a snap decision. We talked about whether that was premeditated or whether it was a snap decision.
Right.
I think maybe he's good enough that he could make a snap decision and devise a plan within that pause that he made,
right,
and say, I'm gonna tell on her, but I'm gonna use her and save her in the end. And I think from that point on, he somehow contacted her and said, "Look, you gotta trust me," and maybe didn't even give her all the information, just said, "Trust me.
Right.
I'm gonna get you out of this somehow." Because didn't he cut?
And yet she still freaks out, and she still says that whole "fuck you, Saul."
No, but I think that was real, because I think he came in there and went like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry that I'm putting you through this," and all she just, I think that was the only thing she said, "You better fucking get me out of this shit." You know,
it's kind of like playing a sport. You know, it's like he's quarterback in this situation, and ideally your linemen are supposed to block for you. But what happens when the pocket breaks down? You have to improvise.
Take a hit.
You have to improvise, scramble, and then still make a play.
Right.
So that's what's going on right now.
Here's the other interesting thing about Saul, though. I mean, was it the first episode when he was doing the attacks on those 6 targets?
Yeah.
I remember I was listening to you guys on the podcast because I wasn't on yet. You guys were talking about how indecisive Saul was, trying to figure out like if he should do it or not, and he was even indecisive at home with his wife. Like, I think you made a joke on him pulling the trigger. They couldn't pull the trigger at home either. So again, it's like was Saul this decisive with Carrie? Meanwhile, he's pulling this whole like, should I kill these 6 people?
But this is why we talked about this. This is why Saul can make the decisions when it comes to an emotional thing. He can make the decision. Carrie is his, like, we always said that, like, her Achilles heel was Brody, and like that's his Achilles heel. Like, he will always be there for Carrie, which is why I think this was such a nice twist, because everyone watching, even you're like, what? This is so not Saul. What is he doing? And then it was such a nice, satisfying moment when they hugged and we figured out it was a plan.
It's nice to see them playing on the same team again.
But yeah, no, I don't know. It's very confusing, but I think that
it's great. We get to digest all the first 3 episodes and all the people who are like, "Oh man, this season isn't." Now we get to look it over again with this whole new twist and try and figure it out, which is kind of awesome.
For me, I'm gonna guess that was that was the moment when it all went down at the hearing when Saul said she has a disorder, didn't give her name, and then that's when he went, "I'm devising a plan."
Right.
And I think that's when it all started. If we're going back and guessing, that's what my guess would be. And I'm probably right because I'm really good at guessing and predictions.
Anyway,
just say it.
She's like the self-proclaimed.
I know, I love it.
I love you, Lauren Leonelli. Anyway, so was it just
Stay
me?
tuned for Lauren Leonelli's correct predictions.
Right, exactly. Now, was it just me? And I want to know what everybody in the audience thinks about this. I just watched the show, but when Carrie was on the run, and I say that in quotes because she was trying to dodge and dip away from, was it the attorney?
Paul Franklin.
Paul Franklin. Yeah. Were you thinking, call Quinn?
Yes, I thought she was knocking on his door when it was the guy that she had sex with.
I thought she was calling Quinn.
Yeah.
I thought she should have called Quinn, because to me, Quinn hasn't presented himself as a guy who's compromisable or a guy who you can buy off.
He's also come to her on his own and been like, I'm here to protect you and have sex with you eventually.
Right.
But he's still officially...
And he keeps it real. He seems like he keeps it real. It's like, even though he has orders, it's like he thinks for himself and it's like, I don't agree with those orders, so I'm not going to do that.
Exactly. He was 100% would be like, nope, not doing that.
Well, but he's acted rogue, and I think even like when he was over at the first commitment hearing, she was very surprised that he was there. She was trying to get rid of him. So I don't know if it's maybe to protect him or...
Because she already had a plan.
Or because, she already had a plan. Or he's part of the CIA, and again, Saul doesn't trust anybody. And then don't forget, the person who originally hired Quinn was Dar. Dar was the person who brought him in.
That's true.
So there's a connection with that, too.
That's true.
Why?
Just call him Darth Adal.
Why?
Yeah, exactly.
So wait, who? I know we kind of just touched on this, but I just need to hash it out in my brain.
Okay.
So who, on the run, who was she really running from, though? Because she's not just pretending all that. There was somebody she was really running from.
Well, it was really weird. It was really weird when she was... I don't know if she was on her... No, she wasn't on her way home, but when she turned that corner, and remember we saw the guy sitting in the car...
And said, don't go home?
And we thought it was the banker.
Yeah.
The guy sitting in the car...
He looked like the banker.
He looked like the banker when she got all her assets frozen.
Very similar to the banker.
Why would they... Hold on, I have something to say about the casting process. Why on earth would they do that? Why would they just show us a scene with the dark-haired dude...
Fuck with us.
What? No, I'm just saying...
They're playing with our heads.
Why would they do that? They're smarter than that. Either that was on purpose to be like, what?
I think it was on purpose.
Why would you do that and be like, okay, now just for one, that guy had like 5 lines. Now we're gonna cast some guy like 30 seconds later that's gonna look just like that guy, and we're just gonna like give a quick shot. And so why wouldn't you just put like a blonde guy in the car?
Right.
All I don't know, white collar criminals look alike to me. I don't know.
Well, I just thought that was dumb casting wise.
That's classist, Nando. That's classist.
I don't know. Just saying.
I'm just saying.
If those guys were not, if that wasn't supposed to be on purpose, that was stupid casting call.
Okay, my other question is, her being so surprised that her car is gone, her assets are frozen,
That's what I'm saying.
and all these other things, were these kind of like...
Why would she have that
That's just kinda,
arbitrary
I don't know.
conversation with the neighbor in the garage
Were those the things that throw the audience off?
unless she knew she was being followed?
I think she's playing it real.
Wait a minute.
She's playing it happen.
She's just
Maybe
in
she
character.
knew she was being followed or like watched potentially at any point, and so she needs to act surprised when her car's not there.
Exactly. Carrie has to be in character.
Okay.
Because everything that she does to be in deep cover has to be as though
She can't just hang out in the house and go, I got a meeting with this Leland guy tomorrow. I'm just going to watch some TV. I'm going to catch up. Oh, what's on my favorite? What's on my
because they
TiVo?
know that she's gonna like try and run, so she has to act like she's running.
She's got to make him. She's got to play hard to get.
and she runs to Brody alike.
Yeah.
She runs to Brody's doppelganger ginger.
And she hangs out with him for the night.
Gross.
Yeah, steals a little money.
Gross.
And
I would have hung out at Peter Quinn's. That's where I would have been hanging out.
We know that's where.
But if he's if he's not on the same team, then
on the same team.
you know,
Who cares?
Still
would have been
and they even knew where she was then.
Yeah,
that was kind of disturbing.
I know.
That was disturbing.
That
She
they
went to
actually
somebody
knew?
that she had barely any connection with, just that one night stand, and they knew exactly where she was.
They know everything.
Okay,
And she stole money from him. She stole his money.
She stole.
And she didn't need to
take
do
everything.
that.
But she didn't take everything.
She didn't need to do that. Were they watching? Oh, well.
She didn't. She was.
Maybe
broke.
she was
her
like.
assets were frozen.
Maybe she
didn't
was.
have a car.
Wait, this is what she was thinking. She was like, you know what, dude? They don't call it a blow vacation. It's a blow job. Pay me for my work. And then she left. That's what she was thinking.
Lauren Leonelli, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. What?
They
It's
don't
late
call
night.
it a blow vacation.
Is that a prediction? Is that correct?
No, I'm
What's
just
this,
saying.
Homeland After Dark?
No, I'm just saying it's a late night show, and the people watching the show are allowed to hear that kind of talk because they're watching a Showtime show with swear words and sex. I'm just saying. Maybe that's what she was thinking.
No sex. I'm surprised there was no sex in that scene.
Well, they're saving it for Peter Quinn.
They're saving it. They have to.
They can never
Somebody's
be too
gonna be
much.
backed up.
They haven't had enough sex this season.
That
She
show.
alluded sex. I mean, she did spend the night. She did get up. It was like,
She
you know,
paid herself
shared
for
a
it.
bed.
nobody wanted to see Brody like hit it again, I guess.
She
So
paid
they were
herself
like-
for it.
Yeah, exactly. So my next question.
Okay.
Just saying. Smart girl. Smart girl.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you made me forget my question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
There's
Talking
lots
about blow
of
vacations.
No, there's lots of
Move
questions.
from that. Let's move
There are a
from
lot.
that.
There are.
I mean, it's
there are a lot
just
of
so
questions.
interesting to go back and pick up the pieces like this because you wonder like how much she was. But I mean, to wrap it up, I guess what we're saying is that she's going under the assumption that eyes are on her at every second, so everything she does needs to look like she's doing the normal thing that she would do and avoid going to the other side.
Oh, I remember. Okay.
Wait 1 second.
Go ahead. Go
Remember
ahead.
that.
Finish. Yeah,
but
I remember.
that
Go ahead.
scene with that lawyer was also heartbreaking because when she decided or acted like she was deciding to
flip.
give this guy information,
Yeah.
you watched her like. I mean, she wasn't even facing him, so she, had to act upset, but those facial expressions, I believe, and like the real sadness there was like her imagining having to do this and how heartbreaking it would be because she was like very emotional about it, and she was probably also scared in that moment as well because it's like at the edge of, this is really going down, and now I'm going to have to meet this guy, and obviously that's what excites her and she's good at, but at the same time, I think the thought of that actually having to happen, it was because she would never do that. She would die before she went against the CIA or.
Oh, well, they did a good job of setting it up, and that's what my question is: how many of you were hoping, based on Saul being the new improved a-hole Saul that he is, CIA? Yeah, exactly. He's the new Estes. How many of you, based on the home or house being against her now, and her going through everything she's going through, and they're just, the world's against her pretty much. How many of you out there were kind of hoping that she was gonna flip in that moment, because the lawyer, he did make a point. It's like, playing for a airliner for an airliner. He said, these guys, it's like, it was just equal retaliation. It wasn't like anything crazy or anything that was fanatical. It's basically how he was explaining it. It's a simple war. Like, there was a strike here by the U.S. and then there was a retaliation. It was very equal.
Eye for an eye.
An eye for an eye, basically, yes. And so is that kind of rationale, you kind of look at it like
it's very
so in that moment you can actually be like, well, yeah, and then the U.S. government or the CIA
very cerebral.
Is screwing her.
It's on that level, but the emotional level is where Carrie lives most of the time, and she was. I think
so. Emotionally, she's getting screwed by the people she's giving her everything to. Think about it.
She wasn't though, really, because
no, but we didn't know that then. That's what I'm saying.
We didn't.
We didn't.
Yeah.
So that's why my question is, how many of you out there were hoping that she was actually going to flip in that moment?
Well,
because
he
had been
did
betrayed
make a good
in her
point,
mind,
and he
made a good point.
And I thought they were trying to.
I kind of was like, get some money.
Right. I thought they were trying to get the audience to sympathize with the decision that she was about to make, because it was something that we would never see her do. So in order to still fight for Carrie and to still love her and watch her and emotionally relate to her, we would have had to rehash all the shit that they made her go through and go like, you know what? Yeah, maybe this is the only thing. They pushed her to this point. This is all her only other choice. It's either she's going to die or she's going to live and do whatever she can to survive, survival of the fittest. And it's because they put her here. So I think that was done, that little speech that a lawyer gave that was great, was done in order to let the audience at that point not just turn off and be like, oh my God, forget it. I can't watch this show now.
And that guy is a good actor, by the way. I can't remember his name right now, but
that was a great
He was
scene.
in Weeds. He played a DEA agent in Weeds.
Bing it if you're
about 4 or 5 seasons ago.
Bing it and find it and call us.
Bing it and find it and let us know. 424-256-1729. What's Bennett's the
If you don't call in,
name.
you can go onto iTunes and comment, or YouTube or whatever while you're on iTunes. Rate and comment about how much you like our show and how crazy we're getting about how exciting this is. And let us know what you think. Keep the conversation going. Tell a friend. We are here talking about Homeland because we're obsessed. Clearly, I am, speaking for myself, obsessed with the show.
No, she likes the show. She's obsessed with Peter Quinn.
That is true
Let's
also.
clarify.
And I feel like this episode was lacking a little Peter Quinn, but that's okay because we'll see him soon. But
we'll see a lot of Peter Quinn later.
Let us know what you think. Keep the conversation going because that's what we're doing here for you guys. And while you're on iTunes, buy yourself a copy of Serial Buddies, because if you like mysterious things with little plot twists, then you'll like this movie.
Yeah.
That's what Homeland is. This movie, of course, with some dark, dry humor.
Right.
And
pretty funny.
Kathy Lee Gifford, Henry Winkler, Christopher Lloyd, Maria. Hello, that's a reason enough right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So buy that.
And it's Serial Buddies with an S, S-E-R-I-A-L, not cereal like
the food
Apple
we eat.
Jacks.
Yeah.
Apple Jacks, Fruit Loops.
Right.
So get yourself a copy of that and let us know what you think about us on iTunes.
They're great.
They're great.
That's Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I was doing 2 things at once. Did you see that?
Multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
So, Carrie flipping or potentially flipping, my next question is, would you rather have seen Saul not be a part of this whole flipping thing and Carrie bring down everything, like go to the higher ups on her own and handle this whole operation?
No, we got to see Saul.
I was really feeling like, what the hell is he doing? I need my Saul back. Mm-hmm. And when he hugged her, I felt like he was hugging me. I could feel his embrace around me.
They're like stably unstable, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying?
No, he keeps it
It's like they're unstable. No, Saul's unstable too.
No, he's
but
not.
He's stable being unstable. And Carrie is like
unstable.
stable. Yeah, he's
not. He's totally in control of everything he's doing, and he's super smart.
He's totally calm.
He's the bear.
I wouldn't consider him stable. I wouldn't.
Why not?
I think he's stable.
I don't think he's completely stable.
I think he's more stable and not stable.
I mean, if there's any
I think he's got control of his instability.
If there's,
I think his instability is stable. He has learned how to operate as like a functioning drunk. That's how I
No way.
I think he's unstably stable.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry.
There might be moments where he makes like irrational-ish decisions, but that's part of the job, and it always turns out good, and he always knows what he's doing, and he saw the Bear Berenson.
Okay, anyway, so
you can't just dismiss me.
I'm not dismissing
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Hold on. Is Saul unstable? Yes or no? Is Saul unstable?
I don't think he's unstable.
No. 2 against 1.
I believe he's stable in his instability.
Whatever. Don't try and go back on it.
I'm not. I said that the first time. I believe he has learned how to operate within this.
Well, you can think what you want to think, Thaddeus.
Peter Quinn is stable. Mm-hmm. He knows his own mind. He stands for something.
I don't know. I don't agree with that 100%.
I believe he's stable.
I don't think he's stable right now. I think he's.
You think Peter Quinn's not stable?
I think he's showing his humanity. I think he's starting to get a little unstable. I think he's still someone you can rely on.
Okay, so why do you think he's unstable? Go ahead. Why, what gives you?
I just think ever since he shot that kid, I don't think he's thinking, as far as the CIA, he's thinking his own moral ground, but I don't think another reason why Carrie didn't go to him.
I agree with you. I think he's unstable in the reliability sense of the job. Carrie, she will do anything against. She will always, always, always be on the side of the CIA and the Americans.
No matter how long it seems to them.
She will. Peter Quinn is, although he's like super smart and stealth and all that, is not, none of that's being questioned, as where when it's with Carrie, you question it because of her disease. Peter Quinn doesn't have that problem. He's like very right to the point. But I do agree with you when it comes to the job or who he's going to fight for, and he's even said it out loud. He's like, if I feel like at any point that this is like something I'm not going to do or I'm morally against it, I'm out. So when it comes to the stability of the job, yes, he's unstable. But I like it.
The one you can't trust is Dar, though. That's just the one you can't trust.
I've never trusted him from the beginning.
You definitely can't trust him.
Never. From the moment that Saul met him.
I haven't trusted him since Scarface.
No. In the moment that Saul met him in that cafe, like season 2, I was like, who is this guy? And he is freaking me out.
Yeah, he was very grim, like very eerie, spooky. Like, this guy is.
It makes you wonder how far the
writers. This guy can kill the president and then convince everybody. This is why it was needed. It was necessary. The president was a threat to national security. You're like, okay.
Looking back on this now that we had this plot twist and we're going back just in this episode, if you think about looking back all the way to season 1 and 2 and whatever, it makes you wonder, like, how far do the writers have this stuff planned?
That's a good question.
Because if Dar Adal is supposed to be a guy that's like not so good, or now we're going to find out that he's not good.
Right.
Did they have that planned the whole time when they met in that cafe when they first introduced the character? That's like 20 episodes ago. How far have they gone? Do they know the ending right now? What's going to happen at the end? They know. I wish I were Carrie and I could go on a rogue operation and find the writers of Homeland and make them tell me the end.
I think they know where they're going on the end of the season.
God,
I think they know already.
No, I'm talking about the end.
The end? The big end?
Like, they have to make this
possibly.
like a feature film story and then break it down into little episodes and stretch it out over however many seasons they can get. With an end game in sight.
It's really interesting considering, especially like after certain episodes in season 2, you're like, how the hell can they move on from this one? And here you are thinking they must have it planned out 20, 30
Lost had it planned out. Yeah. Lost had the story planned out the entire. They knew what that story was the entire time. How many seasons did that show last?
7, I believe.
A lot.
Well, they knew. I mean, I guess
a lot of seasons.
I'm sure things twist and change or whatever as you're writing it, but they had a A and a B. They had an end.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That end in sight.
So good.
Absolutely.
It's all the in between. Okay, so we spoke enough on Carrie.
Yeah, we can.
We can
the
move
whole
on.
Javati thing.
Yeah.
Bennett and everything. Let's briefly talk about Dana and Leo.
She's totally prego.
I'm head nodding. Well, you did mention that. What's the mom's name? Jessica.
Yeah.
What's the actress's name? You said she's pregnant.
Marina Baccarin.
Marina Baccarin, and we did see some scenes where
you can totally tell she's actually prego.
Well, the actress was, I think, pregnant.
Yeah, the actress. That's what I'm saying. Yes, the actress.
Marina Baccarin. Yeah, she actually sat down when she went to go with Mike. Makes a comeback. Uncle Mike is back
on a break from the blacklist.
Wait a second.
On a break from the blacklist.
Why are they making his hair more red?
I was thinking maybe it was just the lighting.
No.
But it was pretty red.
Really? Like, why would they make him like a ginge like Brody?
Maybe we should go on IMDb. Maybe he's shooting something else.
Well, he should have dyed that shit
I think they still would have dyed it or given him a wig or something. Yeah, I'm sure they would have.
it was always
Did you notice that, Nando?
Colored it. I didn't notice it as much, but I guess I'm not really as on top of Mike. I kind of was like, whatever. I mean,
because there's like this redhead thing going on anyway on the show.
That's what I'm saying.
So next thing you know, you see his hair, and it's like, it was kind of reddish.
Gingy.
To be honest, I'm kind of bored with Mike, only because, I mean, he had to be there because Dana's AWOL, so who does Jessica get to talk to right now? Talk to her,
and you
talk
also
to her
have
son, who we barely ever seen, doesn't say
like,
anything? No.
so,
They got to bring Mike back and say, okay, we've been in a relationship this whole time. Kudos to people who said that. Somebody, I think somebody said that we didn't know that Diego Clantonhoff's on the blacklist, but no, we knew that. He's on the blacklist.
Yeah. Right.
So that's the main reason why he's not there. He was off Homeland since January. So, but it's nice that he's back. But again, he's just there really because otherwise Jessica has nobody to talk to.
Okay, is it just me or is it annoying that the son is like completely disregarded?
He's always been disregarded.
Like, to me, it's just not real.
I guess you can't have these conversations with her son anyway. It'd be kind of weird. So.
Yeah, but I mean, Dana has her own storyline.
There's
Then how
so
come
much
the son doesn't have
happening,
his own
Thaddeus,
storyline?
because the son's, who cares about him? I
Well,
don't
you know
even
what?
care.
They Mike said this.
I know what
actually,
you're saying.
You know what I'm
actually, Mike
saying?
said this to Dana. He said it's Brody who broke her heart. It really is the father-daughter relationship, and it's this relationship that's affected all of Dana's relationships with other guys. I mean, look at the relationship she's in with Leo. She doesn't know barely anything about him, and it turns out he might be a murderer.
Might be. Well,
Or yeah,
Well, we don't know.
he's
we'll
definitely her baby daddy.
Well, we see that they're at his brother's gravestone. They turn in the Outback for a Camry.
What the heck was
I
that?
wonder if
And
the product
$200.
placement. I wonder who paid. I wonder who paid for that.
It was Outback.
It was Outback or Camry?
The Outback turned the Outback in for the Camry and $200.
Yeah.
The
And take off
crappy
to the-
Camry too, by
The
the way.
parts for the Outback cost more than the Camry, so I'm
Right.
guessing the Outback. I'm guessing they paid for the advertising.
And then the mechanic like recognizes Dana. What does he recognize her from?
From the news.
Is he watching CNN? That guy's watching CNN.
Well, that is racial profiling, my son.
Who said it had anything to do with race?
Well, why are you asking Well, I'm just saying.
I just said that guy is watching CNN.
Why not?
I don't know.
I don't know that it's CNN.
They got
That's
their
on-
faces blasted all over the news.
Yeah, that's not just CNN. That's like.
But she's
it
a
was
minor.
everywhere.
She's a minor. Obviously, at least I know
You
in the
can-
news that I watch, they usually block the kids. They don't really show the kids if they're minors and they didn't
I
commit a
think
crime.
they can though, can't they? I think that's like a Europe.
Not if it's a minor. If it's a minor, they usually don't. And she didn't do anything. This is her father who's been accused of a
Well,
bunch
people
of
know
stuff.
who she is
People know
because
she
of him.
is. I think.
And before he was accused of a crime and whatever, they were all on the news together when Brody came back and was like the celebrated soldier that came back after. So the people know her
she's
from
been a
that.
public record from that.
That's
That
true.
makes a lot of sense.
And he was a congressman, so
Yeah, exactly.
it does make sense that he
Yeah.
might recognize her from that. Okay.
Just saying.
Got it.
That part
Fair.
was weird to me, but now obviously looking back after you find out information when Uncle Mike brings back this, this information he got from a friend on the inside that there was a, what did they call it? A suicide pact that went wrong, possibly. And, this boy is now could be charged for murder, except for his wacko parents sent him into the loony bin so that he would just be off and not put away for murder.
Right.
And then it makes sense because I'm like, why are they?
Meanwhile, notice how judgmental his parents were.
Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah, they were
so
like
judgmental.
Well, that's because
she's a bad influence. On
Well,
him.
that's because they knew anybody who's super judgmental of things like that. It's because they know they're doing it themselves.
Attention from themselves because they already know what they're doing.
But I think that car scene weirded me out because, like, I know Dana's rebelling, but that just seemed like kind of crazy. I'm like, why are they making it seem like she's all in on this? And then I think now, for me, I was like, okay, this guy's clearly a criminal or potentially, so that would make sense that he would know to do something like that. I mean, what 16-year-old knows to go hawk a car and like barter with the parts and stuff? I mean, come on, that was like, So clearly this kid's like bad news, and I also think he got her pregnant. Let me just say that again.
I just think it was kind of lame just seeing him go, and they're like aimlessly going around. They're going to the graveyard to see his brother. She's going to the base. It's kind of like Elizabethtown, that movie with Orlando Bloom, where they're doing the road trip, and it's like, we really know.
That's where the expository writing bothered me. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's like, and then that was like
that storyline is kind of like.
I guess we needed to see what happened in the graveyard.
But
well, actually, you know what? This is another question I want to ask the viewers. Can we do without Dana's storyline at this point?
No.
Is it really?
Is it really
necessary? Do we really enjoy her storyline at this point?
Well, I think
her storyline, her arc is kind of like.
I think that's
Are we really interested still?
I think something's about to happen. We're on the cusp of something happening, and it did get exciting.
Besides her getting pregnant.
Well,
is that really big? Teenage pregnancy, 2013? No.
I mean, just so you're all watching that was just a prediction of mine. That's not she's actually.
No, but
pregnant.
let's say that happens.
Okay, but I'm saying I think it's now more exciting. That storyline was dumb, and they were doing that, like I said, the expository writing at the graveside and at the base, and I'm like, what the heck are they doing?
Right.
Now that we know this kid's a criminal, it feels more dangerous that she's sitting in a car with him, like, I don't ever want to leave, and he's like, then we don't have to, and you're like, oh God, he's gonna kill her. her. Like, then it seems more exciting. So now I want to see what's going on. But up to that point, I was bored. A little bored.
There's a little more danger involved. Yeah, I get that. I get
now that we know that Saul and Carrie are in on this thing together. Now I'm like, yes, it's like they did the same thing with that.
But I don't see any connection right now between Jessica and Carrie, which is interesting considering it looks like there might be something, but I can't see it right now.
Yeah. I don't know how she's going to get to that door and knock on that door.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to see how that.
I know.
And then, of course, Brody, because now he's disappeared again after that whole thing. They had that thing and then the audiobook.
Wait, where did Brody disappear to?
Well, I mean, since last week, we haven't seen Brody again.
Oh, I was like, no, he's in captive.
Yeah, I mean, he's
disappeared to everybody else.
I'm just saying he's just completely different. So it's like, how are we connecting these pieces right now?
I really hope they get him to kick the heroin as soon as possible.
Well, we do know, just at one connection, though.
That's annoying to me.
Coincidentally, this is happening in Venezuela.
Yeah, that's the one connection.
So you know these people are...
That the money, the hidden 5%, is landing in Venezuela with Iranian connections.
And now we need to figure those guys that are keeping him there. Are they really there helping Carrie, or are they involved with this and just using her name?
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Because now we know that this is all happening in Venezuela.
Some shit's going to go down in Venezuela really soon.
So now we're getting into predictions. We're at 40. So you guys want to go into news and gossip so we can get right to predictions real quick? So, because I think that's where we're going next.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Do we have any news and gossip for this week?
No, not really. Not on my end.
I was trying to look some stuff up, and there was just some, rehashing about people talking about on the internet, the great acting and how Claire Danes has received. I always want to call her Carrie. It sounds too similar.
I know. That's why I was paused before I say Claire,
I'm
because
like,
I want to say
Claire.
Carrie.
And I saw something on, just like personal stuff about talking about her and her 10-month-old son and how her husband is British and how he gives her advice and things. And like there was a little article about that. I think it was on like BuzzFeed.com or something, and it was just more like personal stuff on Claire Danes and her career and My So-Called Life, and how she said she had like a troubled teenage years or whatever, and maybe that's why she was so good at playing the character on the show too, when she was Angela Chase on My So-Called Life. For all you fans that used to watch that, I love Claire Danes. She's my fave.
She's amazing. She's a really good actress. Yeah. I loved her in Les Miserables with Liam Neeson and Jeffrey Rush. I thought she was bomb in that. I have that at home.
She's good in everything she does. Hey.
She's an amazing actress, and she has the resume to go along with it.
She does.
Predictions. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, season 3, episode 5 coming up. What do we predict? Queen of predictions, Laura Leonelli, go.
Well, I already just kind of said it, but definitely that the people that are keeping Brody captive are probably not really helping Carrie out and have something to do with this Venezuelan money smuggle.
Okay.
Uncle Mike and Jessica are going to have sex. Duh.
They better.
Everybody, I'm always a sex prediction, but I'm just saying I think they will.
And they better cover the baby bump too. That's gonna turn me off. Anyway,
and the dude Leo is. I mean, he's gonna for sure try and hurt Dana. And so,
you think he's gonna try to hurt Dana?
Who's gonna come to the rescue? I need to think about that. Somebody's gonna come to the rescue. I don't know. I'm predicting somebody good.
Uncle Mike, maybe.
I got to think about that though. Can't predict it yet. I'm thinking.
Dad. Okay, Nando.
Well, I agree about the whole Venezuela thing. I was definitely going to predict that too. That apparently the people that are holding Brody captive are not associated with Carrie, but are actually associated with the Iranians. So I predict that. And then I'm thinking that Jessica, we saw that really quick clip of Jessica and Carrie together. I think Jessica's going to reach out to Carrie to try and help her, see if she can use her government influence to find Dana. I think that's where that connection is going to come in. So she's going to be desperate to try and.
So you think Dana's going to like be on the run, like, or not be on the run, but just be like MIA? She's going to be MIA for a while.
Yeah, I think. I think Jessica's going to reach out to Carrie to see if she can get like the CIA or somebody on it.
She's for sure going to be MIA because she wants to stay there forever with this guy.
So that's going to be.
And he's the murderer.
Sorry, that's going to drag on for a little while. The whole Dana on the run thing.
It will.
So
so I'll piggyback kind of on this guy trying to hurt Leo, trying to hurt Dana, but Dana ends up saving herself. The kid ends up dead, and then she finds out she's pregnant.
Who? Who ends up
So
dead?
you're saying Dina's going to kill Leo and then find out after Leo's dead that she's going to
That's
be
good.
pregnant.
Ooh, you might have taken the predictions this week. See, I can admit, but last week,
What are you talking about?
one of my friends,
I'm the king of predictions.
excuse me, I'm gonna throw this water in your face. One of my friends who is a super fan of the show, Sarah Sanderson, at Sarah E. Sanderson, if you want to follow her on Twitter, she said last week my predictions were the best. So, ha!
Anyway, Sarah, we'll talk about that over a drink later.
1-1. We're tied, Thaddeus. We're tied.
Okay, and my other prediction is that we're gonna find out once she gets close to Javadi, that once she gets close with him, she's gonna find out some other operatives in the field that are on the take with this guy.
Dar.
And it probably is Dar.
Woo!
But we're gonna find out that there's some other agents that are.
Yeah.
Because remember, she dropped a little subtle seed. She said, "I'm not gonna compromise any of my agents in the field."
Yeah.
I think that was a hint to let us know she's gonna find out there's some other agents in the field that are already on this guy's team.
Yeah, and they're gonna make you think it's Peter Quinn, but it's not.
It's not Peter Quinn. I don't think it's Peter Quinn.
No, never.
But we'll see.
You never know.
But you never know.
Switch it.
Nope.
They
They might flip it up on us.
Flip it up.
Not Peter Quinn. Not my Peter Quinn.
Okay, guys. Where can we find you guys until next time?
I'm Lauren Leonelli. You can find me at Lauren Leonelli on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Vine, and my website.
I'm Nando Velasquez. You can find me at Nando Vel on Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm Club Thaddeus. You can find me at Thaddeus Massey. No, you can't. It's actually the other way around. I'm Thaddeus Massey. You can find me at Club Thaddeus on Instagram and Twitter. Holla. Until next time, After Buzzers. Peace.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.